How is it going, Toons of the World? It is your pal Mega Snoop bringing you another Toontown video. And in today's video, I wanted to give you a brief overview of the DA offices inside of Lawbot HQ. This has been slightly requested for a while, and I'm just now getting around to it. It's my own fault. I'm sorry, guys. But without further ado, let's hop straight into it. Here we go. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about the DA offices is that if you're new to the game, stay away from them. You don't need to be there. If you need to recover a key to Daisy's garden from a legal eagle, this is not the place to do it. If you need to do that, go to Maple Street and Daisy's garden to a 4-story building, you're good. Alright? Alright. But because there isn't any specific tasks that make you go into the DA office, not a lot of people do them. Their main use is for getting jury notices for those who are working on their Lawbot suits and want to do a CJ battle. With that being said, let me talk about the 4 different offices within the DA office. Each one is labeled by a different letter, A, B, C, and D. And each letter corresponds to how many floors each office has. Office A has 3 floors. Each floor having 2 battles means that Office A also has 6 battles. And the total amount of jury notices is 489 notices. Note there is no laugh requirement for A office, which means anyone can do it. But again, if you need to recover a key to Daisy's garden from Legal Eagle, this isn't the place! Go back. Next is the B office. It has 4 floors, 8 battles, and it'll give you 694 notices. There is a laugh limit for this one, and you need at least 81 laugh to board the elevator. C office is very similar. 5 floors, 10 battles, 1,145 notices, and you need 86 laugh to board the elevator. And then finally, the D office. It has 6 floors, 12 battles, and it gives 1,542 jury notices, and you need 96 laugh to board this elevator. Each office A, B, C, and D is just 1 floor higher than the other ones, 3, 4, 5, and 6, respectively. So depending on how many notices you need for your Lawbot suit, you may do a combination. Maybe you'll need a B and a D, or 2 Cs. One thing that is different about DA offices is the GAG XP. Unlike the Cash Bot mint, where each mint has a different GAG XP correlated to it, the GAG XP in the DA offices is corresponding to each floor. Which means if you go into the A office on the first floor, it'll be ×2 GAG experience. And if you go into the D office on the first floor, it'll also be ×2 GAG experience. And each floor in the office, the multiplier goes up by 1. So in an A office, there are 3 floors. The first floor with ×2 XP, the second floor with ×3, and the third floor with ×4. Now if you were to do a D office, it has 6 floors. The first one with ×2, second with ×3, third with ×4, fourth with ×5, fifth with ×6, and the 6th floor will give you ×7 GAG experience. As a fun fact, it is the only place in Toontown you can get ×7 GAG experience, which is the highest GAG experience you can get anywhere in all of Toontown. But unfortunately, there's only 2 battles on that floor, so it's not necessarily the best place to train. So just don't go to DA offices to train, otherwise people are going to yell at you. No, just know that. Now that I've talked a lot about the general aspects of each office, let's talk about the inside, the specifics. Like I said, each floor will have 2 battles in it. The first battle is always 2 level 10s and 2 level 11s. And the second battle is always 3 level 11s and a level 12. Which means the only 3 types of cogs you can find in a DA office are spin doctors, legal eagles, and bigwigs. Now there are typical strategies for these 2 battles. Whether you're doing an A office or a D office, the strategies are almost the same. The first battle with 2 10s and 2 11s is a quick sound battle. Pair off with sound buddies and have 2 fogs and 2 trunks to take them out quickly. And then with each floor, you switch off with who's doing the sound. If you used a fog on the first floor, you will use a trunk on the second floor. Then you will use a fog on the third floor and a trunk on the fourth floor. And then the second battle is almost always luring. Now here is something very important about the DA offices. It is most recommended to either have organic throw or trap, both if you can have it. And this is the reason for it. When you're doing the battle against the 11s and the 12, when one person lures, the other 3 should take out an 11 each. And the best way to take out an 11 from one toon is either through an organic birthday cake when it's lured, or with a TNT. So after the first toon lures, the other 3 toons take out 3 of the level 11 cogs, left with just 1 level 12, which you can take out easily with at least 3 cream pies. Now, if you don't have either organic throw or trap, I would suggest either to plant throw, that way you can have an organic birthday cake, or just piggyback someone else's throw. That way at least you're kind of contributing to the battle. Now through this strategy, in a D office, all toons will use all of their foghorns exactly, assuming no sound misses. But this is why an A office could be a little bit different. Because it's shorter, there are only 6 battles total. A good strategy for an A office, if you're just trying to get through it quickly, is to do 2 fogs and 2 trunks every battle. It'll completely take out all the cogs in the first battle, and the second battle in each floor, it'll take out all of them except for the 12, which will be incredibly weakened. So in an A office, it is completely fine to use sound the whole way through, in addition to destroying whatever's left of the 12. But if you do a B office or higher, the first strategy is probably a bigger benefit to you. There are 2 main aspects of the DA office. One of them is the battles, which I just went over, and the other one is the puzzles. Now, some of the puzzles are easy and some of them are not. So quickly I'm going to go through the 2 easiest ones. The first being the 3 in a row. You'll see random shapes scattered across a board, and all you need to do is drag the shapes to make a straight line of 3 of the same shape in a row. And you need to do that for all shapes. Once you do that, the puzzle's solved. It's really easy, and as long as you don't accidentally cross over the skulls, you'll be fine. It's an extremely easy puzzle, anyone can do it. The second one is the matching game. You'll notice that there's a 5x5 grid with either a red square or a green triangle. When you touch a green triangle, it becomes a red square. When you touch a red square, it becomes a green triangle. Basically for this game, make all of them red squares or all of them green triangles. It requires you walking over your own steps sometimes, but if you just keep at it, again, it's not a very difficult puzzle, anyone can do this. And now the 2 more difficult ones. The first one being avoid the skulls. This one seems to be one that a lot of people have trouble with. Now the best way to do avoid the skulls is to do this. First, watch it rotate a couple times and try to make sure you have a clear path. It is very rare that you can get through the entire puzzle in one cycle, and a cycle is each time that the skulls switch from one square to another. Now you need to know that the tiny squares are where the skull is going to be next cycle. So what you're going to want to do is once a new cycle turns, walk into the puzzle and make sure you get to a square that does not have a skull on it and does not have a little square on it. That way you know at the next cycle you will be safe. Go as far as you can to a safe square, wait for the next cycle, then continue to go as far as you can to another safe square until the next cycle, and continue to do this until you get to the end. It does take practice, but this is the safest way to do it. You don't need to run, you don't need to panic, just take your time, breathe, and go one square at a time. And the last one, which a lot of people find very difficult, is the Skull Finder. Now this game is exactly Minesweeper, if you've ever played Minesweeper. All you need to do is get to the other side and hit the button without touching any skulls, but you don't know where any of the skulls are. Know this first, the entire bottom row is safe. There will never be a skull on the first row of the puzzle. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up the entire bottom row. Just run across the entire row and see what kind of puzzle you're dealt with. Now here are where the numbers come in. When you see a square, there are 8 squares surrounding it. The number in the square represents how many of the squares around it have a skull in them. So if the number is 1, that means only one of the surrounding 8 squares has a skull in it. Now remember, your main focus isn't to find the skulls, it isn't to uncover where all the skulls are hidden, it's just to get to the other side. So if there's a clear path, that's great, you made it, that's cool. If not, try to open up as many free squares as you can. If you know there isn't a skull there, open it up, try to open up the area, that way you have a better chance of finding a way across. Now this one definitely takes a lot of practice, and what I would suggest is to play Minesweeper on your desktop in order to get some practice. There's some strategies you can look up on the internet that I don't have time to explain to you all right now, but it is definitely something that'll help you out in this particular game. And one of the biggest tips I can give you for these games is that if you don't feel comfortable enough doing it, don't do it. If someone else knows what they're doing, you don't need to step in and help. It's okay to let someone else do it. They're not going to get mad at you for not helping. And this will bring me to the final thing about puzzles. If you mess up a puzzle, you are forced to fight 2 level 10s and 2 level 11 cogs. This isn't a good thing. And here's why. Because in this cog battle, You do not earn gag experience, you do not earn jury notices, and you do not earn credit for those cogs. For instance, if you need to defeat 80 legal eagles, and there's a legal eagle in this battle, and you defeat it, it doesn't count. So this battle only makes you waste your gags. So that's why there is an unwritten rule of the DA offices. If you are the one who messes up the puzzle, you use a level 7 to get rid of those cogs. If you don't have a level 7, use an SOS. It's what keeps it fair and keeps everybody happy. The last thing I wanted to cover is just trying to get from one end of the DA office to the other. Now there's a lot of different rooms with stompers and spotlights, and my best advice to you here is, again, just to practice. Repetition is what's going to help you get through this. One thing you do need to know though is that all the spotlights move randomly. There isn't a pattern, don't try to time it out. You just have to try your best to get around them. Everybody gets hit by a spotlight, it's okay. One thing that typically does help is staying to the edge. Walk along the wall. In certain rooms this is to your advantage because it'll keep you out of the way of some of the stompers and you're less likely to get hit by a spotlight. Well, that's what I've got on the DA office. Hopefully you learned something new and I helped you out just a little bit, and if not, that's awesome, which means you know what you're doing and I can count on you to help bring down the DA office. But thank you all for watching. My name is Mega Snoop. I appreciate you checking out the video, and I hope you all have a toontastic day. Hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to smash that like button. It helps me know that my work is appreciated. Leave a comment and subscribe if you're new. You can check out my live stream at twitch.tv/Megasnoop. Follow me on Twitter at MegasnoopTTR, and I hope you all have a toontastic day.